do cocaine and fucking stop fucking girls.
What do you want to get from this interview?
I want to see how much you've changed.
The impact from Mike Tyson's cancellation of the Gervonta Davis match is nothing short of humiliating. Paul was just devastated. Tyson cuts right through the hype, revealing the vulnerability and insecurity that lie beneath the shiny empire of the former YouTuber turned boxer. This was a devastating blow to all of Jake Paul's assertions.
As someone that we come from two different sides, like, of the world. We still on the same path to get the same thing.
The highly anticipated fight scheduled for November 14th, 2025 at Miami's Casa Center was abruptly cancelled. Fans, the media, and even boxing insiders were completely shocked.
Also, I was thinking too, maybe Tank isn't used to being the B-side of a fight.
B-side, so everybody's working around his schedule, and now...
Yeah, when you the A-side, you get to dictate things, you pick who you want, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's not used to being the B-side.
This was the altercation. Jake Paul had been creating excitement for weeks, asserting with confidence that he could easily defeat Gervonta Davis. Speaking as though he had already prevailed before entering the arena, he was behaving untouchable. However, that storyline collapsed almost instantly. Tyson also didn't hold back when revealing the weaknesses in Paul's meticulously constructed business.
The Jake Paul-Tank Davis fight has officially been canceled. It is off. It is not happening on November 14th.
The cancellation itself turned into a spectacle. Jake Paul made it known that he was stepping down due to Davis's ongoing legal issues.
Well, that fight that was supposed to go down with Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis in Miami on November 14th is not happening. It has been canceled officially, and this comes, not too long after Gervonta Davis was accused of assaulting a woman at a strip club.
Man, you know what I heard? I heard that Gervonta Davis was being very difficult to work with, and Netflix was just waiting for it.
Paul claimed that the conflict was about strategy and accountability, and that he didn't want to be involved in one that was overshadowed by lawsuits. He presented it as a wise choice that would prevent awkward press, preserve the sport's integrity, and uphold his reputation as a courageous fighter who only enters the ring on his own terms. We're on television all across the world. Can you stop talking so much? However, Tyson was able to see straight through it. When responding to Paul's justification, the renowned heavyweight didn't hold back. He described it as phony, hollow, and obviously an attempt to preserve a vulnerable reputation rather than make a morally sound choice. Tyson made clear what everyone was attempting to overlook. A world-class elite fighter like Davis had never really challenged Paul's empire, which was built on hype, social media supremacy, and well-managed public relations. The notion that this was about respect was dismantled by Tyson. In actuality, Paul overestimated his own skills and underestimated the difficulty.
Well, he wants to make some money.
I know. He's a good showman.
Fellow.
The whole story of Paul's invincibility was demolished by Mike Tyson. He emphasized that the majority of Paul's victories, 12 altogether, including 7 knockouts, had come against crossover MMA fighters or non-boxers who were unable to match his weight class or technical proficiency, including his most well-known triumph. Tyson's 58-year-old split decision in 2024 was a hotly contested outcome that benefited more from spectacle than competence. Tyson's argument was straightforward. Gervonta Davis, with his lightning-fast quickness and knockout power, was a true boxing nightmare that Jake Paul had never encountered. When you look at the numbers, Paul's argument seems even more ludicrous. AJ wanted to go through the motions, wrap the hands, and simply get ready for what is. Davis competes in lightweight contests, where technical accuracy and quickness are crucial. Paul, on the other hand, has primarily competed at heavyweight or cruiserweight, using size and strength to overwhelm opponents.
It's Jake Paul who found a scapegoat kind of in an exit strategy and got to.
Tyson underlined that facing Davis would be a very different issue, despite Paul's larger physique. Against a fighter of Davis's ability, all of Paul's prior victories would have been virtually nothing. Strategic disengagement was not a viable story. In actuality, this was Paul's empire's first significant fissure.
What I'm saying is that
Tyson highlighted the fallout from the cancelled fight, putting Paul's confidence and showmanship under scrutiny. Critics questioned whether he avoided a real test, noting that his YouTube-driven fame hadn't faced true pressure. Tyson warned that hype only goes so far. Real fighters are defined by skill, risk, and courage, exposing a vulnerable side behind Paul's confident persona.
Team is now fighting back, and they're stating, and he was more scared than he had ever been before a fight by facing Gervonta Davis.
Jake Paul's boxing record looks strong at a glance, but critics say it's built mostly on mismatched opponents, MMA fighters, and non-boxers. Even his split decision win over a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, while heavily hyped, didn't convince many that he could beat an active elite boxer. His fights focused more on spectacle and social media buzz than pure skill, and the recent cancellation highlighted those weaknesses even more. Against a fast, precise, and powerful fighter like Davis, Paul's usual size advantage offered little, exposing how untested he remains against true top-level talent. Even loyal fans began questioning whether Paul could handle a real, high-pressure boxing challenge.
Punchers in the sport of boxing. He's got a 93% knockout percentage. That's one of the best among current world champions.
Gervonta Tank Davis' team fights back after Jake Paul canceled the fight, went on a tirade.
Despite his legal issues, Davis remained a formidable opponent. The accusations may have offered a suitable storyline for Paul to leave the story graciously, or at least appear to, even though they added a layer of instability. However, it was evident from Tyson's analysis that Paul was not elevated by getting out of this bout. It revealed the boundaries of his well-crafted ego. For the first time, the audience realized that Jake Paul's self-confidence might be based more on deft marketing, social media influence, and well-planned bouts than on actual, proven boxing prowess.
Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
It just pisses me the fuck off. And then
You're good. Take a break.
yeah, take a
The cancellation turned become a cultural phenomenon. Outrage was voiced by fans. Every word was examined by analysts, and conjecture erupted on social media. Tyson's words broke through the din in the midst of it all. Paul's arrogance, his hype empire, and his invincible image were abruptly exposed. No triumph could have accomplished what the fight that never took place had. It revealed a combatant who had been shielded by publicity rather than put to the test by peril. It was a perfect storm of disorder, inquisitiveness, and criticism. Jake Paul's meticulously built business shook in public view as the hype and reality collided, the persona and skill collided. Tyson's voice was a harsh but essential reminder throughout it all. Image is not important in boxing. It has nothing to do with hype. It's also not about avoiding the actual challenge. It's about entering the ring, confronting the danger, and demonstrating that you belong there without a camera, tweet, or spectacle.
That fight that was supposed to go down with Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis in Miami on November 14th is not happening. It has been canceled.
The moment the fight was called off at Road, social media erupted with debates over who really withdrew, Jake Paul or Gervonta Davis. Wild theories spread across Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, while every statement from Paul's camp was dissected and memed. Instead of fading, the hype grew, and all eyes shifted to Paul's next move. Could he rebuild his reputation or face a real challenge, or would his spectacle-driven empire stay shaky? Now every post and training clip is being judged as a sign of whether he can handle the pressure beyond the spotlight.
Consensual, two consensual parties,
Well,
two
you didn't
women.
say that word.
No, I'm saying consensual. I'm saying these two women.
So
came
he paid
together.
women to beat on each other.
Rumors about Jake Paul's next Netflix fight, against names like Terrence Crawford, Ryan Garcia, Francis Ngannou, or Nate Diaz, added to the suspense. But the cancellation made one thing clear: Paul could no longer rely on hype alone. Tyson's criticism exposed how fragile his flashy, media-driven rise really was, turning the cancelled bout into a symbol of his untested foundation. Now the boxing world and social media are watching to see whether Paul can prove himself or crumble under the pressure.